Hey, it's Steve and welcome to my shop. Now, I get requests all the time, and one of the common requests recently was to start doing some more project-style videos using some of the lasers I've reviewed on the channel. And you saw that I did my CNC workbench drawer inserts using the Algo Laser Delta, and if you haven't seen that video, go watch it up in the corner here. But then come back, because in this video I'm going to take this WeCreate Vision that I reviewed a while ago. I'm going to put the rotary attachment in it, and I'll show you how to do that. And I'll engrave a water bottle, I'll put something cool on it, and you'll see how easy it is. So let's get going. All right, so the first thing we have to do is look at the rotary attachment for the WeCreate Vision, and it's a little different than some of the other rotaries you might have seen. There's no big plate on the bottom where this thing is mounted. It actually mounts inside the cabinet of the WeCreate Vision. There's a pin and then two screw holes. It fits in there really nice, and you just plug in the cable. I'll show you how to do that. But it's a very simple rotary, and I did in this case remove the plastic jaws and replace them with the pins, and that's because the water bottle that I've chosen here actually fits with the pins really well, so I'll use those. Now, first thing to do is install the rotary. You can remove the grates, or you can leave them in depending on what you're engraving. But I'll show you how to take them out there. And then you drop the rotary into the end on the left-hand side. There's a hole for a pin, and then you put in two screws, one on each side of the rotary. And then it's a simple case of plugging the cable into the slot in the back. And you can see if I zoom in here that it just plugs right in. It's just a standard airplane type connector, and you're ready to go. That's really all you have to do on the hardware side. So I needed a design, and I just whipped something up really quickly here in Kittle. I found this really cool spaceman holding a laser gun, and I wrapped some text around it, and I thought this would be cool to put on a bottle. So next step is to get this over into the WeCreate Vision software and prepare it for engraving. Now, before I can bring up the WeCreate Vision Make It software, first thing I need to do is put my water bottle into the chuck inside the laser, and it just fits in between the pins, and I'll tighten it down a little bit with a chuck just to make sure it doesn't fall out of there. Don't over tighten it or you'll dent the bottle. And now over to WeCreate Make It, which is WeCreate's equivalent to Lightburn. I'm going to create a new project and prepare for this. Now, as soon as I do this, it'll take a snapshot of the workspace. It will show you the water bottle, but actually I want to use a water bottle in cylindrical mode, and you can see the water bottle now is now vertical. That's because it's turned the image, and I can lay my design out on top of it here. Now you might notice that background image with the shot of the water bottle is a bit hard to see. It's very dark because we have no real material underneath this, so it's black. But there's a trick here. What you can do is take a piece of paper and slide it underneath the water bottle, and that way you get a white background, so that when you go back into Make It and you take a snapshot of the background, all of a sudden you get a white background, and that makes it much easier. Then I can drop my image on there, which is for the most part black, and I can still see it now, which is nice, and I can just resize it and put it on the bottle. Now, positioning here, if I position it to the center line of the bottle, that's where engraving will start. So you can use this to position center, left, or right as well. So before we can do any rotary work, we need to know either the circumference or the diameter of the water bottle. So I'll just measure that quickly. I'll measure the circumference. So now I'll take that value that I had, which was 234 millimeters, and I'll enter it. Now they call it perimeter. When things are round, it's actually a circumference, but I'll put it in there anyway. It was 234 millimeters, and you can see that it calculated the diameter for me automatically. Now, last thing to do is get the settings. So if I select my image, I can change the settings here. If I don't know what they are, and that's quite possible, there's a bit of a usability issue in Make It, and hopefully they fix this, but the way I can do this is if I go back to laser flat, I can select the material here, and one of them is metal. So if I pick that one to start and then go back to laser cylinder and select my image, you can see it's picked a power of 70% and a speed of 80 millimeters a second. That's probably okay. The only other thing I did was I bumped the line density up to about 200 so that it looks fairly crisp on the bottle. And with that, we're basically ready to go. So I just have to hit start and send this over to the laser and go over to the laser and hit the start button. So I'll show you a few snippets of the job as I'm going here, completely drama-free, just because there's never a doubt that everything is positioned properly. Usually with rotaries, when I put a Yeti water bottle or something on a rotary, I'm always nervous that I'm going to blow the cost of the bottle because something just didn't quite get positioned right. Didn't have that concern here. And that's a refreshing experience with rotary tools in general. So it all worked well. Now I did set the resolution to 200 lines per inch. I probably could have gone to 150 because at 200 I'm actually exceeding the resolution of the laser. But we're not engraving a photograph here, so it didn't really impact anything other than the fact that it took longer than it should have. Now, before we get to the results, I'll just remind you, if you are getting something out of these videos on this channel, make sure you do subscribe. A lot of people watch videos and don't subscribe, and it does impact the perception that partners have. So doing that subscription and certainly liking videos does help bring in partners and makes the channel better. So keep that in mind. Now, with the results, the WeCreate Vision made the rotary usage here absolutely trivial. You can see the camera that's built into the laser made alignment simple. You see exactly what you're going to get and where it's going to appear on the tumbler, in this case, the water bottle. And it can't get easier than this, honestly. So if you have a WeCreate, certainly give this a try. If you don't and you're actually considering one, I'll put an affiliate link down below. I'll also put a link to the video, the original review video up above. Go watch that as well because there's a lot more information in there. And we can wind down. So get out there, make your world, and I'll see you next time.